hopefully. And I think I've talked about this before too, with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, connect what they call pairing or handshake, it used to be the old term, computer. There's still, the technology is not the greatest. So as we've gone through Bluetooth, let's say my new Samsung phone and my, looks like I might be able to do this, tells me screen mirroring, which is what we're doing here, may interfere with the others. So I want to restart it, well, we'll see. But anyway, as I said, if I take my phone, lay it down over there and I walk here, my phone will tell me we're disconnected. If I walk back in, it'll say connected. This is perfect pairing. But a lot of the older devices may take a few minutes to pair, or it may never pair. I guess it's not going to let me do both at the same time. I'm going to cancel that. And it's still scanning, so let's start over. Screen mirroring, I turned off. Settings. It says I'm connected. Okay. Okay. Whoop. Finger from the camera. So that's what you see now when this thing flies, okay? And if you put that on the double vision, over there, put this in the goggles, now you're going to see them just like I see her. You'll see the front of her nose, the back of her head, the chair back there, all with the depth perception that we need to do various things. And I want to take a picture. Took a picture. I want to start a video. 1 second, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that picture is here. If I want that picture or that video now, that's coming from here. Okay? And obviously this is what we're talking about, flying this, not just sitting on the table. Is you just connect this. I don't have it here, but just connect this to your computer. Find your device, okay? And for whatever reason, I don't know if Samsung or iPhones or they're all different, whatever. I can't find that file on here. Okay? It's not in a folder. It's not in video. It's not in media, which I think it would be. But there is a search in there. So you go to search, and this will tell you okay, you got here, your gear, for settings. And then you got this. And that gives you the instructions. Okay, so let's go back. It's a little confusing. You turn it one way and it turns it. Okay, I think of it. This. Oh, that sends me back. Yeah. to get the book out. I did it last night, I had it working. When Roy and I were getting ready for class here, we tried all this technology and so on. So, but anyway, if I connect it to, it usually will bring up, and it'll show you the name of the file. It'll be media one hyphen something or other. So then you see, you do the search and take that name and put it into the search engine, and it'll find that file. Then you can download it into your computer. Then I can do with it as you do any photography or video. I can send it to you, email it, or I can put it in an editor. Okay, that's the next thing now. We talked about what we call getting the picture. Okay, so when you do make a video, whatever, you have to get a picture, and then you have to edit it to what you want, and then you distribute it. So for example, we get pictures, and I put them in my Christmas letter, and then I put those in an envelope and send it to friends, right? So that's the distribution end of it. The editing end of it, now you have to have a special editor to do this. Samsung has an editor. Remember what we call it, Brian? Direct Action, I think it was. So if you get it from Samsung, or you can get on your search engine and search for a 360 editor. And this one is, I talk about eyes from Microsoft, where I've used that in the past. Is when we take pictures through a microscope, and you take the whole picture here, so you're only looking at one little spot. Okay? But if I want to use that for teaching or for consultation with somebody else, they need to see a little bit more than just that little spot. So if you take your iPhone or your camera and you go across the slide, then you go down and across it again and again, and then you stitch them together. So this becomes one composite image. One run, two runs, three runs, now you've got a big picture instead of just a little spot slide. So it's kind of the same thing here. This camera and some of the other cameras will do automatic stitching for you. But we met a photographer at a astronomy party a couple months ago who was into this type of work, and he showed us stuff himself that he had stitched together. Maybe a right and a left view. He did what we call painting with light. So you take a complete black background at night outdoors, and you shine a light on it, and that's the only thing that's going to be in the picture. So you've got a background there, and you show a light on a tree, for example, and then a body standing there with a telescope, I think it was. And then what he did, he reversed it, went over to the other side, did the same thing over here, and then he married those two pictures together. So when he showed it on the iPad, it was one picture. Same guy on the right and left. So I'm sure you've seen that on TV, where they turn one person into a twin, right? One person can play two parts in a picture. It's kind of the same concept. So, okay. Any questions on any of this so far? 360, virtual reality. So another word that's used is immersion. So these words, if you're going to get in and play these with your kids, these are words that they're going to know. This is a more research word, ICE, Image Composite Editor. Now, as I said, a lot of these editors, they'll just say a 360 editor. Okay? And if you buy it from a company, more than likely that company's going to have an editing program that goes with the camera. Samsung makes the editing program for this, and then I have on my computer. The other words, buzzwords that are coming along now, if you're going to buy them, is FPV. The FPV means first person vision. I don't know who came up with these words, but a lot of times in science you have a hard time figuring out why a word worked in, such as a Raspberry Pi computer. But anyway, first-person vision means that this person with the goggles is going to see what we just talked about, the presentation we had. That's called FPV, first-person vision. Now, let's talk about the legality of all this here. Obviously, these are very, very touchy issues, at least in today's work. That means I can take one of these drones if I'm your neighbor and you're sunning yourself out in the pool, and I can sit there and watch you. And I just take my drone, fly over your backyard, and say hover. I got my camera and I'm taking pictures of whatever you're doing. You can do it around the house too, but it's a little more difficult with those glasses. I could fly it out that door, down there, in another door, and take pictures. And they have some of these for kids that you buy these robots. It's in the kids' catalog. It's got a camera on it, and they can control it. Just like you see, I can't think of a movie, but my grandsons, I watched that movie over and over, where this little robot goes around, and it's got a camera there. So, anyway, Texas, being a conservative state, I guess it is, came out with very rigid laws on it. Okay. If there is a loophole in the law seem to be mostly, and anybody wants it, I can send it to you. Because again, if you're going to do this professionally as a photographer or above the amateur level, you're going to have to know what the law is. It's like you can't drive a car until you know what the laws are. Okay. So basically, the Texas law came out and said that it's mostly related to taking a picture. So if you're just going to fly the device, they're not quite as concerned. But if you're going to take a picture, then there's copyright, there's all kinds of things involved. So if you're going to take a picture, the laws are related to drones. You can only do certain things with it. You can fly it indoors, generally speaking, without any major problem. In small buildings, okay? I don't know, a big stadium, a football stadium, it's a little bit different. Because then you get into the commercial world and so on. So anyway, so if it's under 0.5 pounds, it's not a big deal too, because they know you're going to send it up very high in the sky, okay? And even if you get one that's very powerful, they still put, there's basically, I think, three major parts of the law. One of them is the weight, the other is how high you can go. And if I remember right, it's 6 foot. So if you go 10 foot, which is, many rooms are 10 foot, you might be violating the law, okay? So, and the bottom line is, there's a hobby world and there's a commercial world out there. Commercial world is like, Walmart may use it to inspect the roof, their air conditioners on the roof, or an air conditioner company made. Because all the air conditioners on those big stores, if you look at them, are set up there on the roof. So cattlemen may use it. They used to use helicopters. First they used horses, then they used helicopters. Now they can use drones to look at the cattle. And if they got a good drone, I haven't really talked about sound yet. I've talked a little bit of sound, but in the last year we haven't addressed sound a whole lot. You know, they can have put a siren on this thing, drive all those cattle one way. You see sheep, for example, one dog can herd 100 sheep. So a drone, a decent sized drone with a noise of some kind can actually make animals move under your control. So that's a commercial world. So if you go over that, and I'm almost sure it's 0.5 pounds, then you go move into the commercial world. And there are very rigid laws in Texas what you can do in the commercial world too. Okay. I can't think of it right now, but any of the real estate people, or like I said, the farmers, inspecting pipelines, or whatever, there's a set of a dozen, if not more, rules related to what people can do commercially, and they can't do any more with it either. I don't know how it relates to the educational system yet. I haven't done enough research to know that. Now, this is Texas. I said Texas is one of the first states that I know that started limiting and very conservative or rigid laws. The FAA has been studying that for a long time. So now, the FAA has come out with certain rules too. So now you have to pass a test with the FAA. If you're on the internet a lot, you'll see there'll come up ads there, how to pass the test for your FAA. So if you want a big one, I haven't got one, I haven't shown any, but the bigger one's a little bit bigger than the Hog there, the Air Hog, and they weigh a little bit more. But they're very, very powerful. They run about $1,000 plus. Okay? And then you know what the commercial, or the military ones use out here at Fort Hood. They've got these monsters to deliver bombs and all kinds of things. So anyway, so you do need to get a license from the FAA. If it's in the commercial world or over the hobby use of it. And I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, it was news, well, there's two things I want to wind up with. News, I'm trying to think. These lapses, you know, this gray hair. Lapse. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on in this drone world, so I'll talk about the most recent one. My wife was gone babysitting a couple nights ago, so I'm watching TV. And just by accident, I came up with this, and you might want to write this down if you're interested in this. Just check it out. Here's adults all over the world that are part of what they call Drone Racing League, DRL. So if you put that in your search